All right, so we're back, and this is going to be a review, unboxing, etc., of Armaf Odyssey Artisto. One of the newer Armafs out there. There's several ones that have come out since this one. This came out mid-summer of this year, so this is, in theory, a summer-ish fragrance. But let's get the cellophane popped off, take a look at the box, see what's going on with it. All right, so this apparently is meant to be a twist or a dupe or a clone, whatever you want to call it, of Le Beau from JPG. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you the notes, and you can kind of judge for yourself. I don't own any JPGs. I just like the note breakdown. I want to go with this one. So we got top notes of bergamot, nutty notes, sage, middle notes of coconut, tropical fruits, and cinnamon. Interesting to see the tropical fruit notes as the heart note rather than like a top note. And then you have base notes of vanilla-tonka and amber. So a very long-lasting base on the dry down there based on my experience with those various fragrance notes. I have to get this all off of there, all the holographic stuff to show you it's real. All right, this bottle in particular was bottled in June of 2025, so it's had plenty of time to sit and do the magical M word that many Middle Eastern fragrances do need to do. Has that standard Odyssey look, nothing too crazy about it. Got the leatherish style bottle casing. I think I can actually pull the whole thing out, but I'm not gonna bother with it. I think I can pop the whole thing out. Not worth it right now. All right, let's pop the lid off. To this day, I don't know why they don't make this thing attached separately, but whatever. Oh my gosh, there we go, finally. Standard top to it, nothing too different about it in my opinion. Got the red kind of pressure cap there. All right, let's go ahead, and as always on this channel, we do spray on paper, then we do a spray on skin. I come back after a few days, but for you, it's just a quick blip, and I talk about things like longevity, note breakdown over time, and projection. But for right now, all you're gonna get from me is just the difference between paper and skin, which can sometimes be like a correlation between folks who like to spray on their clothing versus people who like to spray on their skin. So let's go ahead and do the on paper option. Pop, pop, pop. We're going to overspray the paper because we really want to know what this smells like. Let it flash for just a few seconds. Only takes about 15 seconds or so for the actual denatured alcohol to flash away, especially when moving it like this. Okay, already can smell it. That's nice. Yeah, I was kind of expecting a really tropical kind of bomb to it, but that's not what I'm getting. I got bergamot. Bergamot and sage more than anything else. Those nutty notes, I suppose, are there. But when I think of like nutty notes, I think of like almond and cashew. They don't tend to like project super strong. They tend to just kind of more make everything else seem more smooth, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's pleasant. Let's do a couple. I'm gonna do a couple sprays. Wait, just make sure nothing. Sometimes I'm a firm believer that sometimes the stuff that's in the tube isn't as good as the stuff that's in the bottle. But that's just my conspiracy theory. But yeah, that's the coconut comes out pretty quickly too, even on paper. So the sage and coconut and bergamot are the primary notes I'm really picking out from this. All right, let's do skin. Let's see what skin does. Do 3 sprays on skin, drive my wife nuts because she's going to smell me like this. Get off all the alcohol. The citrus is stronger on skin, that's normal. Definitely stronger. I would say the citrus is more of a front stage player on skin, where the sage kind of came out a little stronger on paper. But yeah, that's a very pleasant, very sweet opening. Again, the main problem I've always had with these Odyssey, I don't know if you can see that, but their spray on the actual bottle itself, because they have this thing so wide and they have the atomizer so short, it always sprays on itself. Just kind of annoying, but every single bottle in the Odyssey series has the same issue. They're all they're not the best atomizers, but the juice inside is usually pretty good. Yeah, but on paper, the citrus, like if you were to compare the citrus on paper, which would be like on clothes compared to skin, it's almost like it's not there. On skin, the citrus comes out really strong. Bergamot combined with the sage is very pleasant. And you get a little bit of those fruity notes in the middle because I can't say like, oh, it's guava. I can't be like, oh, it's a bunch of pear and apple. It's just a standard kind of fruity sweet. I'm gonna say a little synthetic kind of fruity notes in the middle, but not in a bad way, more like a clean kind of smell. So like a clean coconut and tropical fruits. I'm not getting any cinnamon yet. So if there's cinnamon coming, it's gonna come later. But yeah, that's nice. That's really pleasant. That's definitely more of a summer fragrance in my opinion. It's not summer and spring, so I'm doing the review in autumn in North Carolina. So maybe a little late on that, my bad. But yeah, this is so far a very nice fragrance. Definitely hard on the masculine side, is I would say overall. It's a more masculine fragrance, of course. I think that's actually listed by Armaf. Nope, it's actually unisex according to Armaf. No, this is not unisex. This is for men. This is a men's fragrance. This is a lot of that I've smelled JPG before. This has a JPG style DNA, so it's kind of sweet and bubblegummy in the opening. But yeah, very pleasant overall. And I'll jump back in. You'll see me in just a split second, but for me, it'll be a couple days of wear, just getting used to how this thing breaks down, projection, longevity, etc. And then we'll talk about that when we get there. All right, let's talk about Armaf Odyssey Artisto now that I've worn it for a few days. So the opening notes, they last for a little while. Bergamot obviously being the first that kind of disappears, but then you get those nutty notes that kind of stick around. And the sage is very sweet overall, very pleasant. The one note that I don't get from this at all, is the coconut. And that just might be a sensitivity thing on my end. I have other fragrances that to me just smell very sweet and green whenever they have that coconut note. So that might just be my nose being limited. I can also say that sometimes my wife and kid will, if they smell something, they'll say it kind of smells like sunscreen, but what they're used to there is the coconut smell. But I don't really get that. So that literally may just be a me issue. As far as like the cinnamon notes, it's very sweet, very pleasant. It's overall a very sweet fragrance. The opening's a little bubblegummy, kind of almost like maybe a little cloying to some people. Not to me. I enjoy sweet fragrances. Every now and then I'm gonna pause and smell my wrist since I just sprayed this on me. The vanilla dry down's very ambery. Again, it's a sweet, I'm gonna say it's more of like a syrupy sweet vanilla, everything all together. But by the time you get to that vanilla dry down, it really is a skin scent. As far as projection goes, it's going to project pretty beastly for the first hour. After that, it kind of cools down, and you end up having like arm's length. If you walk by somebody, they'll smell you kind of deal for about 4 hours at the most, in my opinion. On the longevity side, I'd say it's a safe 6, but you can probably push it to 8 if you overspray. It's not the longest lasting fragrance in the world, but it does a good job in my opinion. It's also one of those things where like the vanilla notions, those do kind of carry it through with regard to longevity, and that really is mostly a skin scent at that point. Other than that, there's not much else to say about it. For the price point, go for it. It's a nice, easy LeBeau clone. It's very smooth, and Odyssey is one of those lines with Armaf that does benefit from some maceration time and aging. So if you get it and you're like, I'm not sure about this, let it sit for a couple of months and then see how you like it, because it does tend to smooth out. And some of these Odyssey fragrances, especially the sweeter ones, can be a little cloying if you get them and they were just bottled a month ago or something. Give it some time to settle, and they usually do kind of smooth out over time. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.